What is going on, everybody? Today I will be previewing the 2024 college football schedule for Air Force. I will go through every game on their schedule and I will predict which games on the schedule I think they will win, and I will also predict which games on the schedule I think they will lose. But before we get into looking at their schedule, let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you will love this channel, because we upload daily college football content and we basically cover everything on this channel, so definitely consider subscribing. And also consider joining my Discord server down in the description below. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Troy Calhoun has to be one of the most underappreciated coaches in college football. Troy Calhoun has stayed loyal to this Air Force team since 2007. There's been a lot of ups and downs for this Air Force team, but overall he has done a spectacular job with the very little resources that he has to work with at Air Force. He has led them to an 11-win season in 2019. He has led them to 4 10-win seasons, 2 9-win seasons, and 3 8-win seasons. He has only had 4 losing seasons at Air Force over the span of 17 seasons. But honestly, I think next season could be one of the most challenging seasons for Troy Calhoun at Air Force. Air Force returns the least amount of production out of all the 134 teams in college football. They lost all their best players, and even with all the seniors they had last season, they fell apart near the end of the season. And they were not that deep on their depth chart. And they missed the Mountain West Championship. And after their quarterback got hurt, they really went downhill. Next season is going to be challenging with all the talent leaving. Air Force was destined to have a good season last year, but a lot of people expect them to take a step down in 2024. We will see if Troy Calhoun can put something together for Air Force and keep them near the top of the Mountain West. But anyways, let's get into predicting their schedule. And they open the season playing at home against Merrimack. This will be the cupcake game on their schedule. Merrimack isn't a great team and they are at the FCS level. I really don't know anything about the FCS teams. I know a little bit about the top teams of the FCS, but Merrimack is not a great FCS team, and this game shouldn't be close unless Air Force just doesn't come out to play, and I don't expect that to happen. Troy Calhoun will have Air Force ready for their home opener, and I definitely have Air Force winning this game and moving to 1-0 in the season, and there's nothing much to say about this game. The next game for Air Force will be on the road against Baylor. If this was last season, I probably would have Air Force winning this game, but 2024 will be a new season, and I do not expect Baylor to win a bunch of games next season. But they could be a bit better than 3-9. Maybe they could be competing for a bowl game. They brought in Daquan Finn at the quarterback position from Toledo. He was a big part of the reason for the success Toledo had in 2023, and I do expect him to help out this Baylor team at a position where there were huge concerns in 2023. I think this will be a difficult road game for Air Force playing a decent Baylor team, so I do have Air Force losing this game on the road and moving to 1-1 on the season. The next game for Air Force is at home against Navy. I expect Army, Navy, and Air Force to be similar teams next season if we are talking talent-wise, but Air Force will have this game at home against Navy, and they beat Navy pretty easily last season. I think this could be a close game, but Navy went 5-7 last year, and I don't think Navy will be better than Air Force in 2024. So I do have Air Force winning this game at home and moving to 2-1 on the season. The next game for Air Force will be on the road against Army, and this game will be played on November 2nd. So this game is a game later in the season, and the schedule is kind of all over the place, and none of the conference game dates have been announced yet, but this will be the last non-conference game for Air Force, and Air Force actually lost this game last season. Next season they will play Army on the road with a chance to get redemption. This game is a 50-50 game to me, but I think Air Force will lose this game on the road, and I think they will split the games with Army and Navy, just like they did last season. So I do have Air Force losing this game and moving to 2-2 on the season. I could see Air Force winning both games against Army and Navy, but these teams have very similar play styles, and I think Air Force will drop a game to either Army or Navy. The next game for Air Force is at home against Colorado State. I think Colorado State is a potential Mountain West team that could break out in 2024. They were a pretty competitive team last season despite going 5-7. I think Jay Norvell is a good head coach. He did a very good job at Nevada, and he is just getting started at Colorado State. I think Colorado State will step up next season, while Air Force takes a step down. Colorado State is top 40 in returning production, and I think they win a very close game against Air Force, so I do have Air Force losing this game and moving to 2-3 on the season. The next game for Air Force is at home against Fresno State. Fresno State has some questions on defense with the talent they lost, but they return all their top stars on defense, and Mikey Keene could be the best quarterback out of the Mountain West if he does stay healthy. I like this Fresno State team. We didn't get to see Fresno State and Air Force play last season, which was unfortunate, but next season I think Fresno State will have more upside, and I have Air Force losing another game, and I actually have them moving to 2-4 on the season. The next game for Air Force will be at home against San Jose State. I don't expect San Jose State to be that great next season. They were okay last season and they had their ups and downs, but they were just way too inconsistent. And San Jose State has a lot to figure out. They had a pretty decent offense last season, but they lose their top stars on the offensive side. And they didn't impress last season against Coastal Carolina when they only scored 14 points in their bowl game. I do think San Jose State could still potentially make a bowl game again in 2024, but Air Force beat them pretty easily last season, and I think Air Force will find a way to beat San Jose State at home next season. So I have Air Force moving to 3-4 on the season. The next game for Air Force is at home against Oregon State. Oregon State should definitely take a step down. They lose a bunch of talent just like Air Force does. But Oregon State will be returning one of the better running backs in the country, Damian Martinez. And I think Oregon State will have a good enough run game to beat Air Force. Oregon State should still be better than a majority of the Mountain West teams because their roster is a lot deeper. So I do think Oregon State beats Air Force on the road. So I have Air Force moving to 3-5 on the season. The next game for Air Force will be on the road against Nevada. Ever since Jay Norvell left this Nevada program, Nevada has been a terrible team, and they went 2-10 the past 2 seasons. There is still a lot of work that needs to be done to get Nevada back to being a team that can have winning seasons, and I think Air Force wins this game pretty easily on the road. So I have Air Force winning this game and move it to 4-5 on the season. The next game for Air Force will be on the road against New Mexico. New Mexico and Nevada will probably be the bottom 2 teams of the Mountain West next season. They both have new head coaches, but New Mexico picked up head coach Bronco Mendenhall, who has a really good track record. New Mexico went 4-8 last season, and they did have a couple highs with the win on the road against Fresno State, and also a pretty good blowout win against Hawaii, but there's still a bunch of work that needs to be done for New Mexico. They rank 123rd in returning production, and I do not think Mendenhall will make a huge impact in year 1, but we'll see what he can do for New Mexico within the next couple of seasons. But I do have Air Force winning this game and move it to 5-5 on the season. The next game for Air Force will be on the road against San Diego State. San Diego State had a terrible offense last season. They're going to need to see a lot of improvement on the offensive side for them to be that good Mountain West team we used to know them as. San Diego State was a pretty bad team last season, and they went 4-8. But they've done a pretty good job in the transfer portal. They brought in quarterback A.J. Duffy from Florida State, and they also brought in a pretty solid tight end from USC. They brought in 4 receivers as well, and their offense should be better than what it was last season. Not saying it will be good, but their offense should not be nearly as bad as it was last season. But Air Force still beat the San Diego State team 49-10 last season, and I expect Air Force to win this game again because San Diego State still has a lot of work to do on the offensive side. So I have Air Force moving to 6-5 on the season. And the last game of the season for Air Force will be on the road against Wyoming. I expect Wyoming to be a decent Mountain West team just like they usually are. Wyoming will lose a decent amount of offensive production, but on the defensive side they return 67% of production, which is top 35 in the country. And they have hardly lost anyone to the transfer portal, so that's pretty good for a Mountain West team. Wyoming is always a very tough place to play on the road, and I do expect Wyoming to beat Air Force. So I have Air Force losing this game, and I have Air Force finishing with a 4-3 conference record and a 6-6 overall record. There's no doubt that I could be underestimating Troy Calhoun and this Air Force team, but I expect this season to be one of the most difficult seasons for Troy Calhoun and this Air Force team. This is kind of a bold prediction, but I think they lose way too much talent in my opinion, and this team was full of seniors last season, and I do have to make some bold predictions. But I have no doubt that Troy Calhoun will continue to do great things for Air Force, but I do expect them to struggle next season. But anyways, you guys let me know down in the comments below how many games you think this Air Force team will win in 2024. But that's going to do it for the video. Let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you will love this channel because we upload daily college football content and we basically cover everything on this channel. So definitely consider subscribing and also consider joining my Discord server down in the description below. But that's going to do it guys, and peace out.